Afternoon, Unite for a Community. Sue Weldon here, and welcome to this month's Ask the Experts. I am so excited about this particular guest. We have quite a history, and I love that our community always wants to join and share all of their questions, and this one is going to be a fun one. As you all know, our Ask the Experts, we do these every month. We could not do them without our dedicated sponsors. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, West Pharmaceutical, as well as our supporting sponsors, Daiichi-Sanyko, Merck, Seagen, and Lilly, right? So without further ado, I love that we get to have questions from the actual Facebook Live. Please know that you can do that. Put it in the chat. We'll answer them in real time. We have folks that are following along, so we'll make sure that you can have this nice conversation and easy to follow. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you Dana. Dana, let me put you on here. Dana Donofree is the actual founder, and she is coming up here, and owner of AnaOno. Oh, Dana, what an incredible business you have built. And I feel like I got to meet you very early on from the beginning, and just love watching how you have grown and everything you've done. And I feel like, I'm honored to be able to interview you today, Dana. So welcome. But we share this fun little story, and I wanted to share it with our community. And, it's all good. I don't need to be embarrassed by it. So when I first met Dana, we were talking, and I said, Dana, both breast cancer survivors. I said, I have not worn a bra in 13 years. And she could not get over it. She actually was just like, are you kidding? You are the reason why I created AnaOno. Why have you not been doing this? You are my poster child, right? So it's just a fun little joke that we have between us, and I know she shares it. So Dana, thanks for being here. I'm going to let you take the floor for a little bit and welcome everybody, and just tell us about, yourself, your diagnosis, your treatment. Let's start there, just so people get to know you.
Well, Sue, I mean, the sentiment is so shared on both sides of the screen today, because we have known each other for a long time. Yeah. And I can even say the same for Unite for her. I mean, being in the Philadelphia region, getting access to your program very early on, and now seeing it offered nationwide, and just all of the different activities and support you're able to give everybody. So congratulations to you and the hard work of your team as well, because it's such an incredible program and so important. And I know we share in so many of shared missions and values of who we are as both patients and community leaders. So thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing our funny story, because it literally is my story, because you are my poster child.
I'm better now. I am better now. My whole drawer is filled with your bras, just so you know.
It's exactly the purpose. But no, it was interesting, because I started AnaOno. I got diagnosed with breast cancer a day before my 28th birthday in 2010. So I am chalking up 12 and a half years in this survivorship space, as I know you have also had a lot of time here too. And we're very fortunate and grateful to get to say that, as we know that that's not everybody's story. But I think that a lot of that leans into getting the opportunity for to live a full life after a cancer diagnosis. I think is really the shift that I got to experience as an early stage patient. But I also think too, due to societal shifts and all of the changes, it's like, there was a world of breast cancer before you and I were diagnosed, Sue, that was really focused on the older woman and her experience only. And every experience is insanely valid and valuable. But there was this sort of support system that wasn't really existing for everyday life. It was very much like for the medical patient, like for the patient. And I wanted to live my life the way I was living my life before my cancer diagnosis. Like, I didn't know why so many things had to change. Like, I understood losing my hair and maybe feeling tired from my chemo treatments. Like, I got all of those things, but I didn't really ever expect that my underwear drawer was going to have to be something I was also going to have to shift and change. Yeah. And that was really when I created AnaOno. I just, it kind of boils down to this really simple desire to feel like myself, express myself in the ways that I was used to, and tried to find a pathway to loving this new nippleless body, right? Like this body that had been through so many changes and just, so feeling broken on so many levels. And all I wanted to do was just feel pretty. And it's like such, a really weird thing to boil down to, but it just feels like cancer takes and takes and takes. And it was just like the last thing I was going to let cancer take away from me was my personality and my expression of self. And that's when AnaOno came to life. And that was 8.5 years ago now.
No, it's incredible. And I just love this topic, it's not me, it's the bra, right? Like it's not me, it's the bra. And we as breast cancer survivors, we think it's us, we think it's us. And I remember those bras back then. That's why I did not wear one.
Right.
Like I remember that 18 years ago. I'm like, okay, yeah, totally not going to be wearing this. I just put a camisole on and called it a day, and called it a day.
Yeah.
And I met you. And I'm so happy that you're going to be answering like all these questions, about that boob inclusivity and finding the right bra. And I figured we can just dive in, right? Dive in.
Yeah.
All right. So, when did you figure out that you no longer fit into the traditional bra?
That's a great question because I really kept giving myself a lot of pass. I had, just for context, I did have a bilateral mastectomy surgery. I did opt for implant reconstruction. So a part of going through the reconstructive process when you're choosing implants is you also go a lot of times through this expansion phase, which uses the expander underneath your skin. Now, some and more often than not, or more opportunities today than there was yesterday of going DTI, which means direct to implant, is allowed in some use cases. So it is something that you can ask your doctor about to avoid sort of this expansion process. But back then, the expanders
always wasn't the case, right? Like
back then, it wasn't the case. Yeah. So I called them my SpongeBob square tits because the expanders were literally building blocks, building the bottom, and then you filled up the top and you had 2 boxes on your chest expanding your skin. So at that point, I really understood and I knew. I was like, okay, a square peg does not fit into a round hole.
Yeah.
I got that. And I gave myself a lot of pass. I was wearing camisoles, just like you said. I was wearing sports bras when I could get my arms up over my head. But all of these things, they either A, didn't fit me right, or B, caused a lot of discomfort because the sports bras were squeezing on my expanders. And so a lot of times I would go without anything because of that expansion process. And then I thought to myself, okay, after my revision surgery or once I swapped to implants, I'll just go back to normal.
No.
Because how complicated can this be? And I was so naive. And I just didn't really understand. Again, I was 28 years old. So I also didn't meet other people.
Yeah.
I had a few survivors in my Rolodex, but they were all over the age of 50. And at 28 years old, that's a very different time of life. I'm trying to get married. I'm trying to express myself. I'm trying to be intimate with my partner. And now I can't put a bra on. And I've got scars and bruises and cuts and slices and dices. And so it was just a very emotional process as well. And it was really a month or so after my final revision surgery for my reconstruction that I went back to my underwear drawer. And I did start trying on my old bras because I visually and physically didn't look that much different than what I had been. And just every bra I put on didn't fit. And I just was just literally tossing them out of my bra drawer and throwing them on the floor. And it was in that moment that I was like, wow, I think I'm different now. Something about me and my body is different than what it was. And I couldn't even put my finger on it back then because I didn't understand it. I didn't even know. All I knew is that my doctor told me not to wear an underwire bra.
Yep.
And really pretty much told me that my life was going to be full of sports bras. And you do what your doctor says, right? So I went out and who's asking their doctor about a bra before breast cancer anyways, right?
Yeah.
Why are we even asking them these questions? But I really had to do a lot of self-discovery as I was trying to find out what fit my new body. And then it was a few months after that it kind of dawned on me that there wasn't anything out there and I was going to have to do something about it.
Yeah. I know it. It's interesting because you're taking me back, Dana, as you're talking. I just sort of just ended up thinking, all right, this is how it is. This is
This is
how
it.
this
Mhm.
is how it's going to be. And my size and shape was not the way I was. So I knew it was going to be different, but I figured different was camisole. That's
Yeah.
that's just where I am, right? That's where I am. We actually have a question from Bonnie, and I'm going to do this if you don't mind, because as they come in, it's just nice to keep the conversation going. She wanted to know if your bras for women who had lumpectomies, or do you have bras for lymphedema as well?
Mhm. Great question, Bonnie. So what something I'm super, super proud of is on the website, you can actually go shop by body type. So no matter your surgery outcome from your treatment or your diagnosis, you can actually see the bras on people that have your body type as well. So for lumpectomy, for instance, we shop a lot, or we help a lot of lumpectomy patients, and that's for a few different reasons. One is a lot of times those incisions reside in the breast fold. So when that incision for the tumor removal is in the breast fold, it can often be really, really discomforting to wear an underwire bra. So everything we have is underwire free. But beyond that, a lot of lumpectomies require radiation therapy following the surgery. So we have bras that are designed so they're completely seamless up against the skin. There's no abrasive materials. Everything I make is so incredibly super soft that can be machine washable. So that way, as you're going through radiation and your skin is becoming sensitive, you can also wear something that's really comfortable up against the skin and keep the girls supported. For lymphedema, as we talk about that, and I'm going to say one more thing about lumpectomy, but lumpectomies also after radiation, sometimes they don't know or assess the need right at the point of surgery. But oftentimes after radiation, one side can continue to shrink because of the radiation. And now 2 or 3 or 5 years later, you might have a half a cup size or a full cup size different from your other breast. So we also have pockets where we sell alternative pads that you can like beef up the smaller side so you have symmetry underneath your clothing, or guess what? The bra just fits you the way it's supposed to fit you. So you really, dealer's choice. You can do what you'd like to do. And for lymphedema specifically, a lot of that is obviously you can create that, or that comes down your limb. So you need a compression garment on your arm, but some people do have that lymphedema that comes through the rib cage. So in those cases, if you do have trunctal lymphedema from the lymph node removal or from surgery, you're likely looking for a compression bra that's being prescribed or given to you from your physical therapist. So we do have some bras that are a bit compressive, but they're not a lymphedema compression bra. However, we are in the process of developing them. So Bonnie, if you have trunctal lymphedema, we are looking for people to fit and wear tests. So please reach out to us because it's a really important. It's important for two reasons. One, a lot of the product on the market right now is so hideous and so bad and so uncomfortable that the women actually aren't wearing them.
Yeah.
And that's not good for our health. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a better bra that looks better, feels better, fits better. So if you are facing trunctal lymphedema, you're not getting worse because of the bra that you're not wearing. We'll actually give you something that you can be comfortable in.
Oh, I love that. Bonnie, put your email address in the chat and then I can pass that along. That's terrific. That's great news. I know, you're figuring all this out and there's so many ways that you addressed and solved the problems, Dana. You're talking a little bit about some of them now. I mean, everything from just the scratchiness and the feel of the bras, which I remember that too. Like you were taking me so back. It felt like a little bit of a straitjacket. Like it just was.
I call it the Iron Maiden.
Yes, I'm like, are you kidding? What is this? And I just was like, all right, I'm done. So tell me a little bit about, how you were solving and addressing these problems. You already started. So are there any other areas that you want to talk about where you address and solve the problems?
Well, I think, it's really interesting because now even too, based upon when I created AnaOno and I was really focused on breast reconstruction, we've expanded through all surgery decisions and choices at this point. I think what's great is that right now we're looking at not just post-operative. So we have like recovery garments that you wear after your surgery, robes that help hold the drains, pants that hold the drains, pajamas that you can use the drains in. So like really kind of like completing your physical recovery phases, but without having to skip too much of a beat. Something that also really kind of drives me crazy is I feel like as a patient, we were given a lot of things, but there's also like a lot of pieces and use cases that you only need for a minimal amount of time, which means you end up throwing all of this stuff away, which is so wasteful. and so non-sustainable. And we all know cancer isn't free. So cancer is expensive. So I hate to have people like spend money on stuff that they're not going to need or get some longevity out of. And that's why we want to be able to make sure like, hey, even though your pants fit your drain bulbs, like they're still the best, most comfortable pants you're ever going to want to wear. So like you get more out of it. But with the bras specifically, everything is pocketed. So that's really important. We'll probably touch on that for health insurance reimbursement. So I can give you some tips on that at the end. So that you can use your breast forms, you can use your breast prosthetics, you can use your balance forms, modesty pads for those of us that were able to conserve a nipple, but maybe they're not landing in the right exact places that they used to. And also then making sure everything's really soft, that there's no apex. So if you've tried on maybe molded bras in the market, there's always like this little bubble where your natural breasts used to reside. But after reconstruction, you're a little bit rounder. So the apexes have been removed. And then we design bras that are specifically designed for people that don't have any breasts or with flat closure. So there's still something soft and gentle up against the skin, even pretty. But, you know, really, really inclusively thinking about there's so many different surgery outcomes and there's so many different use cases. We try to impact every single decision that might be made. And that's why right now, you know, that's why it is boob inclusivity, because we say 2 boobs, 1 boob, no boobs, or new boobs, we have you supported.
Love it. I know. I think of that. You know, I was, I don't even know if I told you this, but for 4.5 years, I didn't get reconstructed, Dana. I waited. Nothing looked good. Nothing looked right. I was like, okay, I'm good. I just wanted to make sure I was healed. Right. And so I did go from that spot to go, oh, well, there's no bras for me. I have nothing. Right. So it really speaks to me on how you are just touching on so many different ways that women decide to go, you know, I mean, I was quite comfortable with that for 4.5 years. My decision felt good. And no matter what your decision is, that you are there to say, okay, well, here's a bra that can help you. Right. And just make us feel and grab our womanhood back, which I think I love most about it all, because everything is so beautiful. It's just so beautiful, Dana.
Well, I think what you're saying as well, Sue, is just like choice matters, right? And choice matters here. And I want everybody to know that like there is no bad choice if you've made the right choice for you. So, and you can always reverse your choice. You can go flat, you can go reconstruction, you could go reconstruction, you can go flat. You know, there are very, very few use cases where that choice and that decision is absolutely permanent. So just know, like, give yourself grace to do what's best for you and your body, because it doesn't have to be what other people think or what other people think that you should do. It should really be what you feel is best in your heart.
Yeah, I love that, Dana. Give yourself grace. We say that about a lot of things, right? Because we tend to beat ourselves up. So beautiful point there. I know that, you know, some of your first designs, talk about that a little bit and then how they've evolved, because I've seen that. I've just seen that evolve. And I think I have one of your first ones.
I still have some of my first designs. I will say I'm kind of embarrassed.
You should frame them. Oh, you should frame them. That is just that is like framing that $1, you know, your first dollar.
I should actually. God, I will have to find some. I'm so bad.
You can have the evolution of AnaOno all on your office wall.
I really, really love that. I really I should try to dig them out and do something fun with them. Because the reasons why I created AnaOno was I felt like I had all of these different facets in my life that were now void because I couldn't dress myself. And I really kicked off AnaOno mostly for people with breast reconstruction, because at that time, like I was like, oh, mastectomy people have a mastectomy bra. But then I realized, oh, they have them, but they don't like any of them. So now I have to address that issue, which I didn't know because I wasn't wearing breast forms. But as I began to learn and build the line, it really became important to think about all of the surgery decisions. But it was also about like the different facets of my life. Like I couldn't work out because I wasn't really comfortable in the sports bras. I needed something that closed in the front for after my surgery that I could actually wear underneath my clothing, because I was now 28 years old as a survivor. I had to go to work. There was no sitting at home and recovering. I think I took 3 or 4 weeks off from my mastectomy. I worked remotely, but then, you know, from there, I was back in my office all through my chemo and all through all of my treatments. So I had to actually get physically dressed when I couldn't move my arms. And so I wanted something that was very easy. I wanted sort of that weekend lounge bra that I could run around in. And then I wanted something I was going to feel sexy in, like go out on a date night, celebrate myself, feel beautiful. And that was
Mhm.
really where I kicked off AnaOno, is like with those 5 like key places in my life that was a big void. And as it's grown, I mean, now, you know, I sort of position everything by the phase of treatment that you are going through. So if you're recovering, we have a recovery collection. That's all you need to be focused on. Don't worry about the other things. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's right there. Reclaim as you're healing, but you're not quite all the way there yet, but you want something pretty in your life. To reveal, which is like my favorite, when you're ready to love yourself and begin loving others again and celebrate yourself and
Love
start
it.
moving that pathway back to beauty. And, you know, then we have revive for sport. We have relax for lounge. And the re is very intentional, because I know that we say a lot, your new normal, but I actually don't love that term, because I don't want this to feel like it's not normal. So we're just relearning certain
Mhm.
stages of our lives, and that is normal. We go through a
Yeah,
lot of changes.
redefining.
Yeah,
Yeah, we redefine so much, right? I
exactly.
love that.
Exactly.
I know we tend to use those, I use that a lot, our new normal, because it is. There's a lot of different things that end up changing.
Hmm.
Why does the way you feel in your bra and your lingerie have to change too? And it did.
Yeah.
And you filled that void. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit, I think of all the products that you have, but there is this also ability to get it covered by insurance.
Mhm.
And a lot of patients need to know that. I don't think they know that, and I would love for you to walk through that, who qualifies, how they go, through the process. Is it easy? You're
Well,
smiling. Easy.
we
Oh
try to
boy.
we try to make it easy. So here's the top information that you need to know about getting your bras covered by your health insurance. So as long as you have been diagnosed with breast cancer and or have had a preventative mastectomy surgery, but lumpectomies are also included into this. So as long as there's been a diagnosis of breast cancer, you are entitled to having any breast forms and bras covered by your health insurance. Now, the varying levels of that coverage depends on who's your payer, or who's your coverage provider. But that being said, generically speaking, most insurance companies will cover about 4 bras a year. Some are 2, some are 6.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's on average. They will cover a breast form or breast prosthetic every 2 years. So you can stack your prosthesis. So maybe 1 year you get your silicone breast form. Maybe the next year you get a swim breast form. And then you can kind of always have cycles and fresh new breast forms. So those are also in coverage. And then the ways that you go about doing this is that you do need a prescription from your doctor. They likely are not being filled at like major pharmaceutical places like a CVS or a Rite Aid, but the concept is behind that. So similarly to where you get crutches and wheelchairs, unfortunately, is also the same place that you get a mastectomy bra, which is considered a durable medical equipment store. Now, some of those are actually durable medical equipment stores, but some of them are also mastectomy boutiques that specialize in lingerie and really give you a tailored fitting for whatever that use case is. So we have a whole list of stores that are listed on our website at anaono.com that can service you on all levels, from custom breast forms to regular breast forms and to bras. So I really encourage people to think about that, especially if you are in any financial strains or have a limited budget, because that is there for you. And you can utilize it. It's really important. So all you do is you ask your breast surgeon, your oncologist, your plastic surgeon for a prescription for a mastectomy bra. Now, the trick is, if they write you a prescription, you have to ask them to put the quantity in. So ask them to put in a quantity of 6, because your insurance can always deny. But if they don't put any quantity, then all you get is 1.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
yeah. So
So
similarly how you
Dana,
get 15 pills or 30 pills, you're
yeah,
doing the same thing, but for the bras.
that's it. So Dana, you're one of those resources that we could send that prescription to. Have you?
Yes, so we have several services online. Our current online biller is on hold, but we're hoping to reactivate that in 2023. But we can do multiple things. We can send you an itemized receipt to ask for reimbursement through
Okay.
your insurance provider.
Okay.
Most claims are pretty well processed throughout that. But we can also some places allow you to check out with your FSA, HSA account. And then, of course, we list all of our stores. So if you're in the state where a store exists, call them and see if they'll take an order or a fitting over the phone, because a lot of cases that can happen, which gives you still that ability and benefit to get it what you need.
Yeah. Terrific. Thank you. And just personally, like I'm 18 years out. We probably have people in the audience that are many years out. Doesn't matter. Is
Doesn't
that
matter.
correct? Okay.
It's use case for a lifetime. So if
Okay.
you kind of, and then you can kind of say, well, I don't go to the doctor this year, but I
Yeah.
need a prescription. So just you can even ask your general physicians for
Practitioner.
prescription. Mhm.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. When I think about all the different styles that are out there, it is interesting because you don't know what you don't know. And we think that the bra fits us correctly.
Mhm.
And then most likely it does not, right? There's a lot that goes into that. And I don't know if we just don't take the time or we think we're a certain bra size. And so can you just go through a little bit of that? Like, how do you know what bra style, what size you are, and when you need it?
Yeah, so this is a great question because sizing a bra after breast cancer and after breast surgery can be very confusing. It can be confusing for a lot of different reasons. Maybe you decided to reconstruct, maybe you didn't. Maybe your reconstruction is smaller than the breasts that you used to have. You could have pain in certain areas. Maybe your rib cage is really sensitive. Maybe your underarm is really sensitive, right? So all of these things are different for every single person. But we always recommend to think about your band size first, because that likely did not change before your or after your surgery.
Surgery.
So our ribs didn't change.
Yeah.
Now we all have weight fluctuation in both directions. Some people lose weight on treatment, some people gain weight. I was one of the gainers with all of the steroids. So I
Yeah.
did it when I put on 40 pounds after my cancer diagnosis. It was hard.
Mhm.
So your body might also be changing and evolving during this process. But if you wore a 36 before breast surgery, you're probably wearing a 36 after breast surgery. So think about, like, that's really how we try to simplify it in as many ways possible. But the other part of that is, oh, thanks, Janice. The other part is great too. I see the little pop-ups coming.
So sweet.
Really sweet. The other part is like our bras will expand and contract with your chest. So, if you have had a lumpectomy and you're a very large chested individual, we might not be giving you the support that you necessarily desire. But if you're about a double D or smaller size, like that will be really supportive in our styles. And then again, go back to, utilize the website with ways that are best enabling your experience. So if you're new to diagnosis and you're new to recovery, shop the recovery collection. We have
Yes.
ways to help you along that process. If you're a uniboob and you only have one breast, we have a drop down in our body types that's called unilateral. You can shop for all of the styles. You can see how flat it lays on one side and how it helps support the natural side. And then, of course, you've got the mastectomy section that shows all of the bras in use with breast forms. So it's really about doing a little bit of research. And then from there, be you, right? Celebrate your style, because some people might feel a little bit more basic, some people might want a little bit something fancy, maybe you want one sexy bra but two basic bras. So there's a lot of different options inside our own collection, but really kind of saying first, like, what size am I and what's the right style, is really by shopping our phases. So that way you can not necessarily see that really pretty lacy bra when you're still in bandages, because we want you to ease back into the process and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, I know, we have the Her Care box, and one of the things, you can give the gift of care anywhere in the nation. You're one of our partners, and, you're in every one of our boxes with the discount code, but also in our large box, we have that beautiful robe. And I love that you just talk about the phases, because that's a tough phase when you have the drains and you have the pockets. And I remember safety pinning, my drains onto my shirt, and then they would spill. Like, it was just a problem. It was just a problem. And yet you have this belt that you can take off. You can utilize it probably with anything, but that robe is just so beautiful. And then you take the belt off, and then you have this incredible robe. And there's just your line has expanded so beautifully, Dana. I'm so proud. Every time I see the ads, I'm like, oh, I love, love, love. Just like what Janice said, I love, love, love. One of them being the pajamas, the PJs. Are you going to do a little Christmas line or no?
Yeah, well, this is I was very excited to launch some PJs. As we all know, I think that's like one of the most popular points of need after a mastectomy is front closure pajamas, because you can't use your arms. So I was really excited to launch the pajamas. They're super fun. They have a little hidden surprise in the pink print. If you look closely, we have representations of all chest types inside the print. It's really a lot of fun. It's a great conversation starter. Okay. I think I've been wearing it the entire month of October. And they're not just pajamas. I wear them as a look. I've gone out in public and everybody stops me and they're like, oh my God, what is this? Where did you get it? It's so great. So, it's really awesome to continue to expand what we can do to help with the community. I think that we're excited about the lymphedema research and development. I'm also really excited to relaunch our swimwear.
Yes, another area.
It will come back. I promise. We've been getting asked all the time about our swimwear, pajamas, and two, just the opportunity of my whole goal with anything for AnaOno is that nobody else cries in a dressing room because bras don't fit them, right? And I really set that out to be my goal, to just like help ease the process. Like, I hope that somebody newly diagnosed doesn't even understand that bras are a problem because they find AnaOno and we're able to help. Like, that's one less thing that you have to be devastated about after going through all of this. If we can just ease the transition into this new version of your body, your look, your personality, all of those things. And those things matter. I think for a while I sat back and I said, oh, like, I feel so, shouldn't I just be happy I'm alive? Shouldn't I just, do all of these? I'm like, no, it's not enough. I want to live. I want to feel good about myself. I want to express myself. I want that to be a part of my life. And that's really what I hope to be able to accomplish with AnaOno and supporting the community.
Oh, so good. I know we had a question in the audience, and it was about the Her Care box, because we deliver our program now, Dana, through the Her Care box. That is a different box than what we're talking about, the one that has the robe in it. So you didn't miss anything. So I don't want you to think you missed anything. The robe is in our large box that we put out to consumers if they actually would like to purchase something for a loved one that they can send. So I didn't want you to think you missed anything there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you are definitely, the chat is lit up. Everyone is loving what we're seeing. I did put the code in there. So Dana, you want to talk a little bit about that? AnaOno.com/unite4her. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. So we are obviously a proud partner of Unite for Her. We love supporting the community and everybody that's going through all of these phases and stages of their recovery and their new version of post-surgery life. And as we are in the care kits and we're in the passport in several different areas. So for anybody tuning in, you can go to AnaOno.com/unite4her and you get a gift from us. So if you buy one, you get one for free. We want to make sure that you have one to wear and one to wash. So we're happy to bundle those two beautiful things together for you. And if you have any questions about fit or sizing, we're always available at cs@anaono.com. And follow on all of our socials, DM us, ask questions. We want to hear from you. We want to know about your experience. And the more that you share back with us is even the better and more opportunity we have to help support.
Yeah, I see you do that so incredibly well. There is this sense of belonging in your community, Dana, that you have cultivated and cultured. And just like everybody, right, deserves to have that love, that support, that, feeling of femininity or wherever you are, right? Wherever you are, whatever you choose, and you just make that happen and you make it easy. So I thank you for that, because you really are taking me back to those conversations and where I just dismissed it. I just figured that was the way it was. It was just the way it was.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us do that. I think just, women in general and as patients in general, we just kind of accept the reality or accept what is sort of being told to us. And one of my most empowering parts of my entire cancer treatment was when I opted for my mastectomy tattoo instead of a nipple tattoo.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me because it wasn't about, it was, yes, covering my scars. I had to cover my scars. I needed to see something pretty. But it was the moment that I didn't necessarily do everything I was told, but I did something I wanted.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, we all find our own pathway through this. And I think you're absolutely right. Like we've said grace a few times today, but you know, to be patient with ourselves, but to also follow our hearts, because we're the ones that live in these bodies, and we're the ones that have to, you know, learn our way to love them.
Yeah, well, you give that beautiful community, and everybody feels so embraced. And if you haven't got on the website, please go on the website. You're going to see yourself there. And I love going through. I love seeing your ads come through my email. You know, there's some that it's like, oh gosh, I got to get rid of all these email, subscriptions. Not you, Dana.
Oh.
Not you.
Well, I never get rid of my Unite for Her emails because they're so informative and they're packed with so much goodness. And I will say, Miss Tiffany here is in the chat. She is also a superstar on the website. So
She is a superstar.
Go and hunt around for her. She's got a beautiful smiling face that will bring you so much joy. So
I know. I love lifting our community up, and together we're just, able to do some beautiful work. So I'm so glad I got to talk to you today. I miss you.
I miss
and I
you.
know we're due. I know we're due. So one day we're going to meet in Fishtown and have those conversations. But I thank you. I thank you for all you've done, for our community and continue to do. And everyone get on AnaOno's website and you're going to have a beautiful gift. Yeah. All right, Dana. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. Please reach out if you need anything, and happy holidays to all.
Oh, beautiful. Well, that was just such a fun one. I love that. And again, thank you to our sponsors that allow us to have this incredible, speaker series, Ask the Experts, virtual hangouts. It's the way we create community, a way we create that sense of belonging. And we truly have experts on in their field, and Dana is one of them. So thank you to West Pharmaceutical for being our presenting sponsor, and our supporting sponsors are Daiichi-Sanyko, Merck, Seagen, and Lilly. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and have a wonderful holiday ahead. Bye-bye.